Okay, sorry, that was a really dramatic title, but anyways, I'm Epiphany, a Royale High YouTuber, and I am most well known for my sunset videos and fashion shorts. I am 19 and I play Royale High as a hobby, so anyways, this is going to be more about the Royale High community, not necessarily the game itself. Of course, the game has plenty of problems, but it is made by humans, and humans are imperfect, so that's what happens. But this is not the way to respond to imperfection. First, we will be discussing the most recent event that has sparked a lot of fuel in the anti-Royale High posts that are absolutely all over Twitter, now known as X, currently. So basically, Royale High is making a new set, but you need to buy a doll to get the code for the set. The doll is a school mascot, Valkyrie, but it's also $50. So needless to say, the set is going to be even more rare than the Goddess of Triumph. Of course, a lot of collectors are upset about this, as well as players who farm for a lot of diamonds thinking they could buy the set with diamonds. But the real problem here is the politicalization, and yes, that's a word, I googled it to make sure, of the game Royale High itself. And what I mean by that is specific people, especially people who are always on X or are trying to be more inclusive and progressive, are upset because a company called Jazzwares is responsible for making this doll. Royale High signed a contract with this company years ago. In fact, all Roblox games must have a contract with this company, and this company only, in order to create dolls or toys for their game with the codes. Well, recently, Jazzwares has made their support for Israel public, and there's a lot of heat surrounding the Palestine-Israel controversy, and if you don't know about it, frankly, I'm not going to teach you or talk about it. I'm a Roblox YouTuber. It is not my job to be political or act like I have a following that needs to be influenced by me regarding something that they need to research on their own or talk to their parents about. This is simply a game with pixels. And yes, this is me kind of throwing shade at people who feel the need to make the game political, but anyways, because the company making the doll supports one side of the controversy, many X-users are saying that Royale High is basically funding a lot of terrible things, such as genocide, separating families, non-PG things happening to children, etc. So in my opinion, I understand the frustration and hesitation behind why someone would not want to buy these dolls and fund one side of the conflict. But listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, this is a crazy idea. Just don't buy the dolls. It really isn't that hard to go, I'm not buying this, I'm not supporting this cause, and ending it there. It becomes an issue when people begin tearing down, canceling, or trying to expose others for buying this doll. Similarly, some people, to avoid directly funding Jazzwares, are actually trying to buy the doll through a third party like a reseller or eBay. And I personally think this is a great way to stop sending money directly to the company, but people are finding a way to get mad about that too. I'm a firm believer that just because you don't support something doesn't mean you have to absolutely drag everyone and their grandmas into it, let alone bully and harass children. And I will get more into that later, but yes, children are being bullied in games over this doll. Because let's be honest, most Royale High players are children. I'm in no way saying adults cannot play because I myself am an adult, but you have to stop being a keyboard warrior for a second, stand back and realize this is a game with pixels. None of it's real. A game on Roblox for little kids. And yes, I consider everyone 16 and younger a kid because our brains are not fully developed until 25. So that includes me, I'm not fully developed yet. And sometimes it's even later than 25. So making fun of a 12-year-old and saying a 12-year-old should know better is shameful. Bullying children over them wanting a pretty doll and items in a game is honestly disgusting behavior. Similarly, if you're mature enough to start exploring politics, you should have the maturity to step back, self-reflect, and go, hey, maybe I should just let this kid be a kid, maybe they're uneducated. If I'm getting upset, I'm going to remove myself from the situation. Those are just my 2 cents. But at the end of the day, the root issue here is the fact that people are bringing politics into a game where politics are not only unnecessary, but even harmful for some of these young kids playing it. Let kids be kids. If you truly want to make a difference in the world about something you care about, maybe you should donate your own money to fundraisers. Go join a real-life protest, so something productive instead of ranting online or making fun of little kids on Roblox. But I will acknowledge that Royale High developers themselves have also politicized the game. For example, they said they're going to be delaying trailers because of a strike issued because of the Israel and Palestine controversy. Ultimately, it is their game, and I, nor can other players stop them, but I don't think bringing politics, brutal and violent ones, and very controversial ones at that, into the game, targeted toward young children, is appropriate. But this doll isn't the only update or implementation X-users are upset about. Let's talk about every update ever. So when a new update comes out, or doesn't come out, or is mentioned, pretty much anything that Royale High does gets absolutely slandered by people online. I think everyone just needs to take a step back, take a deep breath and remember, this is once again a game with pixels. It's not real, it can't hurt you. So many people act like they've invested money into this children's game and go absolutely bonkers when an update isn't up to their standards or caters directly to them. They call Barbie and the developers lazy, say they're sleeping, they don't care, and plenty of things that are very far from kind. And I want you to look me in the eyes right now and tell me you genuinely think these developers owe you anything? That they aren't adults with other jobs, hobbies, or daily tasks? Some players need to stop acting spoiled and realize they are raging online over some pixels. I understand if you're a young kid and you don't have other responsibilities, you probably spend a lot of time on Royale High. But some of these people on X that are 14, 15, 16 know better. You are old enough to hang out with friends, read a book, exercise. There's so many other things you can do that are not only far more productive, but healthier for you to do than sit behind your screen and rant on social media about a game made for little girls. In terms of the recent Royale High updates, I've seen many complaints about the pull update, the hair process, complaints about repetitive styles, and especially the doll. I'm sure if there wasn't so much political controversy surrounding this Valkyrie doll, and it was affordable, your attitudes would be very different. But because most people are bashing it and will publicly harass, yes, bully, you heard that, bully and harass you for buying it, a lot of X users have joined the consensus to say that the dolls suck. So that's one of the biggest problems. If you do not agree with the majority of people in the Royale High community, especially on Twitter, you are going to be harassed and targeted. Some people have even recognized this, but some of the main influencers do not care. In fact, they will exclude you from groups if you do not agree with them. But speaking of influencers, let's talk about another big issue within the community. These young people with platforms on Twitter are advocating for things that I personally do not think are necessary, and I'm sure a lot of game developers don't think are necessary either. So a lot of these micro-influencers on X with like a couple thousand followers will find any way to critique the game, call it racist, homophobic, ableist, really anything they can to try and tear the game down. And honestly, if you want to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to stop you. I really can't stop you, but I'm not going to stop you because I think you can do whatever you want. But as I said earlier, if you get mad at the game for not catering to your every specific need, you need to take a step back and do something more productive with your time. There's a huge section of patterns, stickers, and hair colors for Pride. So don't even lie and say the game isn't inclusive of the LGBTQ+ community. There's also updates for Black History Month, Lunar New Year, and other holidays. But something I've seen complained about a lot recently is that Royale High doesn't have enough representation for marginalized groups, especially disabilities. So some players will be demanding things like ramps, wheelchairs, in the name of representation. Another disability I hear a lot of people claim means representation are ones such as autism, anxiety, etc. Let me ask you straight up, how do you expect that to be implemented? Sure, a wheelchair is more obvious and a developer could add that easily. But do you truly think that many players will be utilizing them? Because let's be for real right now. Most people who are going to use the wheelchairs are not disabled, and most likely will use it for roleplays or malicious reasons. We saw this with the hijab, a lot of people don't use it properly. We saw it get added to the game, but I've only come across maybe 10 players in like the year I've been playing wearing it properly. Other players either don't wear it or wear it wrong and get absolutely slandered for it online and in-game. Another huge controversy was the redesign of the Lady Valentina corset. People were claiming that the game is not body positive because it was removing the quote, only plus size corset in the game. I agree that it isn't body positive, I 100% agree. But please tell me how out of touch you are with a real woman's body to think that is plus sized. Here's my body for comparison. I'm healthy, I eat right, I work out often, but I have a wider torso, just like the corset. I'm not plus sized, that's just how I'm built. The game absolutely cinches in the waist of other corsets so much that you forget almost no one in the world is built like that, except for the ones with surgeries or that Photoshop the heck out of their photos on social media. So please get off the game, touch grass, and go look at women in your lives if you think anyone could survive with a waist smaller than their head. As I said earlier, I 100% agree that the game needs different body types, but claiming the Valentina corset was plus size is not correct in the slightest. But something like body positivity is something I can get behind because poor body image is something that affects almost all people, and the current body type in the game does not accurately reflect anyone's body. I'm mainly thinking of female bodies because women aren't built like that, but also the male torsos have had serious issues recently with the necks being broken so that the male toggles can't be used. It's overall not a good situation. But all of this can be attributed to the politicalization of Royale High. LGBTQ+ representation, celebration of certain holidays, those are all things that are more on the political side. I personally do not care if someone wants to express themselves or their beliefs. That is up to them, and I am in no position to tell them what to do or what not to do. But demanding some things like representation for autistic people is truly out of touch and too much to ask for. The game is not meant to cater to every individual person. It's not meant to make you feel better about yourself. It's a game for dress up and role playing and collecting things. Nor is it even possible to make everyone happy because people in the Royale High community will find a way to be upset about it. So overall, the issue and the truth, if you want to reference the title, with Royale High is the community and not so much the game, although the game isn't perfect, and the developers have made promises, failed to keep them, and made us wait for subpar updates. Any mature person should be able to step back, take a break from the screen, and do something else with their lives. There are way more important things and more productive things you could do in the world than complain about a dress-up game made for kids. So to expect perfection and get mad when your needs aren't catered to is just really embarrassing. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this different style of video. It is quite long, over 11 minutes, geez, and that you didn't get too bored with all my yapping. If you disagreed or want to comment on anything or ask anything, please don't hesitate to say something in the comment section. Just make sure it's phrased in a proper way so we can all have a mature discussion like adults. Thank you again for watching and have a lovely day. Goodbye!